Kelly het so past 5 se kant van die werk afgekom.
Kelly arrived so after 5 from work.
Dis reg man.
Correct, sir?
En sy het my net gesê dat sy 'n R200 geleen het by Auntie Colin.
Oh, she said to me that she had borrowed money from Auntie Carla.
Dis reg man.
Correct, sir?
En ek moet die gaskan reg kry. En ek moet die gaskan reg kry.
Must prepare the guest stand.
The interpreter interpreted borrowed money into the English.
Can I read it again?
You read, sy het 'n R200 geleen. Mr. Yankees, you must just remember, the English is the official court record. So you cannot change R200 to money.
Sorry, my lord.
Yes, thank you.
Shall I start that again, my lord?
No, I've now already did that correction.
One thing about Judge Nathan is he did not come to play, okay? He did not come to his courtroom to play. And he is there listening in court. We already know in the Senzime trial, the judge always says, I listen. But, it's not really 100% accurate, his listening. But when it comes to Judge Nathan, oh my goodness, he picks up everything, okay? He really is there to listen, and not only listen, but he is there for justice, because whatever he hears, whatever the evidence is, that is what he's going to base his judgment on. It's not like there's a jury that's going to sit with him or an advisor counsel. No, it's just him. So I love this element of him, and he demonstrates it often. There's yet to be a time where when he stops or pauses the defense or the state and he makes a correction, that anyone has actually told him that he heard it wrong. I haven't heard it, but if you have, let me know in the comment section if that has happened. But now that I mentioned that, I want to talk about Buta's lawyer. Excuse me, I want to talk about Buta's lawyer, who is actually reading in Afrikaans, right? So he is reading in Afrikaans, and he said 200 rands. Mr. Interpreter said money. Then the question becomes, Mr. Lawyer Man, are you listening to the English, or are you really so hyper-focused on the Afrikaans? So let me know your thoughts on that. So what actually happened is, when I noticed Buta's lawyer speak in Afrikaans throughout his evidence in chief, in the beginning I thought to myself, everybody else spoke in English, but maybe because Buta is Afrikaner, and the lawyer is also Afrikaner. They've also been consulting a lot, so their entire relationship has been in Afrikaans. That's why I said, okay, I guess maybe this is why the judge didn't object to this, because all along, everywhere else, he was speaking in English. Not that there's a problem with speaking in Afrikaans, but the record. Or maybe because the statement is in Afrikaans. I'm not sure the thought process behind it, but let me know if you know. Anyway, with that said, he didn't pick up, and I think it's because he was concentrating on his evidence in chief, reading, that maybe he's just not paying attention to Mr. Interpreter. Anyway, so the judge cautions him, okay? In true Judge Nathan style, he cautions him, he corrects him, he explains to him the importance of, giving the correct interpretation, because this is the court record, sir. We can't be making such mistakes. There's a huge difference between money and 200 rands. Money is general. 200 rands is specific, okay? Very, very specific on how much money Kelly was owing. Now, in the next clip, remember, strike one, he gives you grace. In the next clip, you just have to hear it yourself. Judge Nathan cracks the whip. Let's get into it.
Not true, sir.
Kan ek vir u weer die vraag lees?
Ek
Kan ek weer vir hierdie
kan
vraag?
weer herhaal asseblief.
Kan ek weer vir die vraag lees?
Asseblief meneer.
Sorry, man.
The duty of the interpreter is not, when you think the answer should be different, to interrogate the witness. That's what happened here now. And it's totally irregular. The record is what it is, whether one likes it or not. Repeat the question.
Weet jy nie wat met Joslin sou gebeur as sy klaar verkoop is nie? En die antwoord was nee, meneer.
Do you know what would happen to Jocelyn after she's been sold? And your answer to that was no, sir.
Dis nie waar nie meneer.
Not true.
Die volgende vraag is, so Raquel Smith en Kelly is dieselfde persoon? En die antwoord was ja, meneer.
Raquel Smith and Kelly is the same person. Your answer is yes, sir.
Dis reg so meneer.
Correct, sir.
Die volgende vraag is, wie is Makalima? Waar bly sy en wat doen sy?
Following question. Who is Makalima? What does she do? Where does she live?
En jou antwoord wat hier neergeskryf is, ek het die adres gisteraand uitgewys, meneer.
Your answer was, I pointed out the address last night, sir.
Sy koop klomp goed by almal in.
She buys stuff from everyone.
Dis reg so meneer.
Correct, sir.
Die volgende vraag, weet jy waar Joslin nou is? Jou antwoord is nee, meneer.
The following question, do you know where Jocelyn is now? Your answer to this, no, sir.
Is dit korrek?
Dis reg so meneer. Dis reg so meneer.
Correct, sir.
Joslin het nie skool toe gegaan daai dag nie.
Jocelyn did not go to school this day.
Jou antwoord is nee, meneer.
Your answer, no, sir.
Dis reg so meneer.
Correct, sir.
Die volgende vraag, weet jy hoekom nie? Die antwoord is meneer, dis blykbaar omdat hulle skoolklere vuil was.
The question, do you know why? And your answer to that, apparently their school uniform was dirty.
Dis reg so meneer.
Correct, sir.
Die vraag is, weet jy wanneer Kelly en Makalima gepraat het oor die seil van Joslin?
The question is, do you know when Makalima and Kelly spoke about
En die antwoord is nee, meneer.
Jocelyn? And the answer to that,
Dis nie waar nie meneer.
not true.
Definitely not a good day for Mr. Interpreter. And not a good day. And one thing about Judge Nathan, he has zero tolerance for messing up his record. He might be listening in court, but that odd one moment where he needs to go back to the record and verify, and then he finds it's not verifying, ooh, he chewed out Mr. Interpreter without yelling. He never yelled. He never pointed his fingers. He never threw his hands up and down. He never told his registrar to go and get the 3 dictionaries to explain the meaning. Do you know what I mean? If you know, you know, okay? If you don't, forget about it, okay? Forget about it. Because we've seen that in another courtroom, okay? It ended up being a whole hour lecture. But Judge Nathan does it in less than a minute. Stern. Firm. He runs that courtroom, okay? He doesn't want it out of order in any given time. Wait till my next video. That one is going to shock you too. But do I disagree with Judge Nathan? No. Do I have any kind of reservations with how he spoke to Mr. Interpreter? No. I think it was professional. I think he had to say it and he had to do it right away on the spot. Because this is the record. It's very, very serious. Should this have been done in chambers? No. Mr. Interpreter needs to realize his impact and his, I don't want to use his place, but I think that's what Judge Nathan really wanted to say. If there's an issue, it is the legal representations, either the state or the defense, who will object. And then, it is not the interpreter's job to argue with the witness. In Judge Nathan's own words, the duty of the interpreter, when you think the answer is wrong, is not to interrogate the witness. It is totally irregular. The record is what it is, whether one likes it or not. And that was it. That was it. They moved on, went into Makalima. Now, the question was, who is Makalima? And Buta's answer is, she buys stuff from everyone. Who is she? I wanted to hear him say, it's Ayanda's sister. She lives at house number blah blah blah. But she buys stuff from everyone. The question was not how does she make her money, or what does she do in the neighborhood. For me, I feel that question wasn't answered well. And then the famous, or should I say infamous question, do you know where JOSHLIN Smith is now? Of course he said no. But as members of the jury, members of the public, well-wishers for JOSHLIN Smith's case, let's go ahead, spread awareness by the case. I haven't said this in a while, but when you type Justice for JOSHLIN Smith, you're actually telling the algorithm, listen, this is an important topic. So the more you type it, or the more people that comment Justice for JOSHLIN Smith, I know I have people who watch and don't comment. This is the one time I'm asking you to comment. Why? Because it wakes up the algorithm. It tells the algorithm this is an important topic, this is an important video, and it sends our videos to more and more people. Again, the goal is, to spread awareness on the JOSHLIN Smith case story. I remember my very first video that I did. That video got 200 views. I never stopped. For me, it's not about the views. Even if the views dwindle, it's about the story. 5 years from now, if somebody needs to search up the story, I would want to keep it well documented and in chronological order. This is why I'm doing it in the order that I'm doing. I know somebody said, stale news. What? There's no stale news until JOSHLIN is found. Thanks so much for watching. You already know, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with my next upload. Bye.